Stop by the Florida Pioneer Museum in Dade City and check these things out. This is cool. Circa 1900 doctor's buggy. Probably an ambulance of some sort, given the stretcher in the back. Such a cool old truck. Circa 1890, the Surrey. We can check out some other stuff here too. Old John Deere tractor. Imagine sitting back here, behind the rear tires. We got some more tractors over here. Another old Ford. Look at this. A lot of people ate because of those things. Now that is a workshop. I don't think they make headers here though. That was taken August 6, 1908 in Dade City. Phone number 35. Call 35, you get them. If you haven't been to Dade City, it's a really cool small town. They're starting to build more new stuff out here, but there's a lot of history here. And this Pioneer Museum, they do a great job preserving it. Pasco Township surveys from 1846 to 1849. That's a newer map. That's Newport Richey area, and on in Dade City is over here. Yeah, there's 301. And so Corvette Revival is in this area. We'll leave it at that. You just walk around under these old trees. Kind of want one of those. $575. That looks like a good time to chill out on.
Oh, yeah.
This is old Florida stuff right here. Back before they started building all these HOA communities, there was actually orange groves, and this is some of the stuff they would use to process all the fruit. But that thing has some stories. But if you look in here, I mean, this is what they used way back when. A citrus waxer. I mean, look at that. Old citrus packing houses in Blanton, Dade City. But yeah, they'd come down one of these things, dumped on in. I know there's no Corvettes throughout this video, but you know, I figured I'd give you an update of what else I've been doing. Alright, so this is kind of cool. You can get a membership here and obviously support a good cause. That's their current rates outside of the outhouse. This is a cool building. We're gonna go check this thing out. Old general store, circa 1927. My house was built in 1937, so 10 years after this one was built, mine was built, and chances are they shopped at this store, which is just crazy to think about. If they needed something, this is probably the store that they came to shop. All right, so check this out. If you have a Texaco gas pump, signage, Coca-Cola cooler, that's what they're looking for. Antique stuff, probably to display in here. Cool old Coca-Cola clock. So this general store was in La Cucci, which was right up the road from where I live. And in 2000, it was moved here. So it's been here 26 years. Post office. The original lady who owned our house was Essie Mae Geiger, so mail to our house probably sat in that box. Cool old cooler. There's a sausage stuffer. And you can't have some Florida history without visiting a moonshine still. And down this little path here. This would have been buried deep in the woods. And this is where it all went down, where they made the moonshine. And we're on the lookout. Now here's the moonshine corn mash and sugar mash recipe. Outside this building looks a lot like the outside of my barn. An old country store. Probably produce would have been sold here. They didn't have plastic tables back then. They must have been getting ready for an event or something here. Definitely a fun place to visit. It's about 50 miles north of Tampa, Dade City off of 301. And it's like $12 for an adult to get in, and that money obviously goes to keeping this up and running so others can come enjoy the history, and I'm sure they're going to continue to add on to it and make it even cooler and curate some cool stuff. Alright, just for a second, imagine walking home from school or from a day of work, and this is your view, minus the cars driving by in the distance. Coming home to the homestead, those are your fences, and you walk up to an old house like this. And needless to say, he kind of did everything in one room. Cook, sleep, sew. 1918. Great War is in its fourth year of conflict. The Spanish flu has become a deadly worldwide pandemic. This is what it would have been like. And then you got, say it's connected. So you got another bedroom here. So I'm sure the kids probably had, parents and kids in one room, and then an extra bed over there, and separated by a curtain. Chances are, whatever that was, tried attacking them at one point. You don't see any TVs on the walls here. Some checkers. This is how you would have washed up. Right here. Got the well right there. Old log cabin. Turn of the century, look at that. This is built 1909 to 1910, just before World War I and the Spanish flu. The two Blue Star banners hanging on the front window represent the two older sons fighting in the trenches in the Western Front, or on the Western Front in the Great War in Europe. On the dining table, two empty place settings symbolizing their absence. No electricity, so oil lamps, an ice box, water from the well, ice from the Dade City Ice Factory. The phone is battery powered and must be cranked. Quilt rack on the ceiling to save space. There's the pay in honor of their sons at the war. Pretty cool. I've always wanted to do this. They make it sound so much better in movies. They do early war reenactments on if they're Civil War or World War I or what they are, but they do them here at least once a year, and this place just really takes you back in time. But if you're going to catch a train and you were in this area, you would have gone through this train station. The Seaboard Railroad actually ran behind my house, probably 50 feet. And one of the stops was just up the road in Trilby, and this would have been the train station. Look at that big dog. So here you got, obviously, conductor stuff. Keeping in contact. Oh, sorry, Keith, I didn't see you there. Just looking at something. This would have been going to Jacksonville. I've actually spent some time in the Jacksonville terminal, which is kind of cool. Nothing like this, much bigger. This was a small town stop for sure. Steam engine, 1935, so 2 years before our house was built. That's what it looked like around here. I got a couple of those in the garage, those old railroad spikes. And that's the old steam train. Old cypress logs. Let's go up here. The sign says ring the bell. Let's go ring the bell. Wow. All right. There it is. There it is. All right. Memory of the Cavalry 1st Battalion. Confederate Army. Food shortages. Pioneer men rounding up and driving wild cattle of Florida north. So I just read A Land Remembered, and they talked about, it was a lot about this stuff, you know, this type of living. They definitely, the character, and they're making a show or a movie out of it. He was one of the drivers of the cattle. So that's where we're at. Pioneer Florida Museum today.